Good day, everyone. I am Ayla M. Palanggalan, and this is the report of Group 10 Children's Literature and Language Arts. Taking the cue from the Robert Graves poem about our common need to soften and control human experience through language, there's a cool web of language winds in us. The writers of this module have gathered a rich and varied assortment of 5 lesson plans which explore the forms and functions of stories in order to illuminate the pattern of children's reading. It envisions connecting children's literature to the language arts program to enhance the value of each. As pre-service teachers, you will get to learn the benefits of using literature to develop literacy. We have the lesson 1, which is making links and plans. Story links to content areas. I had been a teacher of many grades from K to 12. I always believe in stories as springboard to learn a skill and at the same time enrich imagination. As a language arts teacher, I use variety of books that have concepts of other subjects aside from English. The Seven Blind Mice by Ed Young had been a very good story to link up with math, science, health, language, physical education, art, and drama, of course. I thought colors, days of the week, healthy practice to protect the eyes, adjectives like sturdy, supple, sharp, steep, windy, and stringy. Below are sample stories for story-based literacy programs. Here is an example of instructional style of storytelling by day of the week. Designing a lesson plan is the teacher's primary classroom task. Using a story promotes literacy and love for reading. Here is the Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein with a 4-pronged approach lesson plan. Blueprinting literature. We have the lesson plan in English 3. Number 1 is objectives. At the end of a week session, a grade 3 learner must have, we have the A, skills, B, insights or values. Number 2 is the subject matter, A, story, the giving tree, comprehensive skills, sequencing events. We have C, the reference, and we have D is the materials. We have number 3, learning activities, developing genuine love for reading, or GLR. Pre-reading, A, unlocking of difficulties, B, review of vocabulary words, and C, motivation. You are going to sing a song. For example, there was a tree. After singing the song, you are going to assess their learning by questioning what is the song all about? Are trees important to us? And what should we do to take good care of the trees? During reading, read the story using DRTA. Look at the screen as we listen and read the story silently. Answer the questions as we go on reading the story. Take a look at the picture in the story. Based from the title of the story, what do you think is the story about? Then after that, we have to read The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein.
Let your students to read the story entitled The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Number 2. Developing critical and creative thinking skills. Post-reading activities. For the engagement activity number 1, which is the class discussion, throw a questions to your student to measure if they really understand the content of the story. For the number 3, grammar and oral language development. For introduction, tell the story by telling one sentence about it until the whole story will be complete. For teaching and modeling, allow your students to read and discuss the given sentences. Now, link with grammar lesson by asking, what is noun? Then your students will answer, noun is a name of persons, things, animals, place, and event. For guided practice, let your students to look at the pictures given and write a noun, a form, and a sentence about it. For independent practice, let your students to identify and underline the noun in the sentence. For evaluation, let your students to read and understand the story The Clever Princess, because after reading, they will be having an activity. And lastly, the assignment. Let your students to draw a noun in the box and write a sentence about it.
Hi everyone, good day. I am Muslim B. Pasandalan. Larger than life is a tall tales. The plan for this is meant to develop the reading and writing skill of the learners. First thing to do is you will write your objective, which you will state what is your aim or goal for your learners at the end of the lesson. Second is the preparation. First, you must select more than one of the tale story. Make a photocopy of tall tale frame transparency, photocopies of the tall tale story you choose. Tell rubrics to see how they understand what they read. Number 3, setting the stage. In short, setting the stage is to make it possible for something else to happen. Number 4, instructional input, where the student gain the knowledge needed to achieve the objective. Number 5, guided practices. Number 6, independent practices. Number 7, presentation.
Readers Theater. It is a way to involve students in reading aloud. In Readers Theater, students perform by reading the scripts created from the stories. Usually, they are doing Readers Theater without costumes and props. So, it is a strategy that combines reading practice and performing. Here is an example of a Readers Theater script for older children from Alan Shepard collection entitled The Magic Brocade. To cut it short, once upon a time long ago in China, there lived an old widow with her 3 children, namely Fan, Li, and Mei. The widow wove brocades which were famous for their beauty. Brocade is a silk fabric with raised designs and patterns. She supported her children by selling them, and then one day when she finished selling, she went to the market to buy groceries. And while walking, she saw a white house painting that is surrounded by green field and a lush garden with a river beside. She bought it and showed it to her children. In amazement, May suggested to weave the painting into a brocade. The widow works hard all day, even at night, just to finish the brocade. And after 3 years, she finally made it. But, unfortunately, a sharp wind blew into their home and flew the brocade to the eastern mountains. Fan, the eldest son, set off to retrieve the brocade, and then on his journey, he saw an old lady sitting beside a stone horse. He told her the story, and then the old woman told him the tough way to get to the brocade, but he chose to get the gold coins instead of the tough course. Yi, the second son of the widow, set off just like Fan, and he took the gold coin and didn't come home and went to the city alone. So May, the last daughter of the widow, set off too, but she diligently cleaned the stone horse and it came to life. She fought the challenge and reached the golden palace at the top of the mountain. The fairies are copying her mother's brocade, and then the fairies gave the brocade back and she went home. And when she reached home, she gave the brocade to her mother, and then the brocade grew and covered the land, and the picture sprang to life. The widow invited her neighbor to share the abundance of the field, while May and the fairy became really good friends and lived happily. And then suddenly her 2 brothers came back as they become beggars and promised to do anything to gain her mother's forgiveness. The 2 worked hard and gained her mother's forgiveness, and they lived happily ever after. This module has given you an idea on how to create links to content areas using children's literature. This should assure you that establishing a strong literature-based reading program can be done if you are doing math, science, and social studies. Further, you are exposed to an explicit example of plans that will guide you when you will make your own plan in the senior year, still anchoring on your stories that will enliven learning for your children. Truly, communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity may be developed via a strong literature-based reading program. This is Juan Catrice Fareluces.